Now it's time to get all the users in our application through an API call. So we could create the API. Let's close all this. Let's go to the server and go to the routes. So over here, and then we go to the user.route.js. We want one that allows us to get all users. So we say router.get, and then over here what we could say is, slash, and then we have get users. So basically this is going to allow us to get all the users, and then we have verify if the person is an admin to see all the users, and then we have last thing is get users function. So like that. Okay, so this is good. Go to the controller, so user.controller.js. Over here we're going to do the same stuff. So what we're going to do here is we're going to have the export, okay, and then we have const get users, and then we have asynchronous, and this all that. Okay, so now this is good. We want to have to import it here, so get users, and then we have so control space, and then okay, so we have the get users, verify user, and then the get users. Now we go to the controller and we define this functionality. So if you're not an admin, you're not allowed to see all the users. So we'll basically say if the request dot user dot is admin was false, you could just simply go and say return next error handler and 403 and unauthorized. Okay, and then the next thing is the try and catch. Now in the catch you could basically have the next handling the error, like that, simple. And in the try part, you would basically start doing this API functionality. The definition applies here. So what you want to do is, first of all, you want to get the start index. So it's just like how we did before for all of our posts that we were trying to get. We're trying to do this for all the users. So we're going to have a start index, we're going to have a limit, and we're going to also have a sort direction. So first of all, we're going to have a const start index. And remember, you want to parse it. So you could basically parse it to an int. And you could have it request dot query dot start index. This is basically going to be passed to the URL. Okay, so the API. And if not given, you could just give the start index as 0. Same thing goes for the limit. That is parse int request dot query query dot limit. Okay, and if not given, you could basically put a limit of 9 or something, right? So 9 users you could see first if you're not given. And now we have the next thing, which is const sort direction. This is meaning whether you want to have it in ascending or descending order. So you could have request dot query, and then we have dot sort. Okay, now sort could either be in ascending, so you basically could have ASC, meaning ascending. So if it's an ascending, that means it's 1. So we could code these values, and if not, we can have -1. Okay, this is good. Now what we want to do is we want to have the users. Now we want to get the users, so we could use the await finally, and we could have user.find. Okay, and when we do this, we have these things. So first of all, we want to sort the user based on the the direction. So we could say we want to sort it based on the created at. So whenever the user was created, you want to base it sort direction there. Okay, so sort direction. Okay, and the same thing goes for the dot skip. We could basically skip it for each start index. So, and then we'd have a limit to apply to the limit. Okay. So now you could see basically start index is 0, so it's going to start from the first. And when you normally give it some other start index, it will start from there onwards. So right now you can see users, and then we have a limit of 10 or whatever, 9. So this is our users are going to be returned from here. Now the problem is that the users also have a password. Those that are stored in the database in hashed format. We don't want that result, so we can remove that using const users without password, okay, is equal to. Then we have users dot map, and then in here we have the user, each user. So inside this, you basically could have something like this. Okay, so you're mapping each user, right? Now what you want to do is you want to return. So we have the spread operator here. So what we want to do first is we have the password, Okay, and then we have the dot 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 rest. All this stuff without the password, right? So you want to actually just have that. So this is coming from the underscore doc. Let me just talk about this. So what we have is that user, we're getting each user from this object list. Okay, this is a list of all users, and we're going to get each user. We're going to get the info, basically the password, the username, the email, and then we're just going to we're going to take out the password, and the rest will be, existing as a separate thing. So password is just basically filtered out, and then we just can't return the rest like this. Okay, now this is good. We have now users without password. Now this is going to return each rest. It's obviously going to give you a list of now all the users objects without the password. Okay, that's good, but we want to add more things, not just this. We don't just want the users like that, but we also want more things. So this is going to give you the users with their specific fields, right? Like email, username, right? But we want one other thing, is we want just a count of the users. So to do that, we could have const, and then we have count total users. So total users is equal to await, and then we have user.count documents. This is a nice function that's provided by MongoDB and allows you to get all the users documents inside the database. So basically the count. Okay, so now we want also the users based on like a particular month. So let's suppose last month how many users have been created, and total users are like 1,000 users in the database, but last month only 120 users existed, were created. So for that particular case, first of all, you would have to first get the date. So new date, you could get the date currently, and from here you could start calculating the last month date. So last month ago, so what could it be? So last month ago would be a new date, and then in here we have now dot get full year. Okay, this is going to give you the year, but the thing is, for the now dot get month, you're essentially gonna minus this with 1, so -1. And the last thing is the now dot get date. Now this is going to give you the current time as well. Now what's going to happen is that you're essentially going to have the last month. Okay, now we could have a const. Now we have last month. I'm not sure if it's time or what, but you could confirm that. So we have last month users. So what we have here is now, last month users, we could now simply get them using await user.find. Okay, and then in here we could have the so last month users equal to user dot not find, actually. Let's go back here. So user dot count documents. Okay, and then in here we have 1 second. So over here, yeah. So in this we'd have count documents, but we'll have a filter here. We'll have created at then this is dollar. So we have dollar greater than, and we have last month. So last month ago or 1 month ago. So basically I have 1 month ago. I could just name it as like that. I mean, that's a little better. So I have this, so we gotta basically paste that from last month ago. Copy. Okay, great. So now we have this last month's users, and we have filtered all of that stuff out. Now we could basically return them all as a response. So what we could do is essentially have, what is this? We have response.status, and then we have 200 JSON, and then in here we have users. This will be the users that are without the password. Okay. Then we have the total users, and then we have the last month users. We return all of this pretty simply as a response.status 200.json, and over here we'd have a next error. So I mean, everything looks good. Format document, everything looks amazing. Now that we have created our users, we could actually go and test this out. So you go to the Thunder client. Let's go here, and let's just add it. So we have open a new tab. Okay, so we also have to log in or something. Yeah, sign in with an admin. So one thing I want to say is that everything is working here. Let's sign in with the admin. Sign in. Good. Got the admin, right? One thing that needs to be considered here is that in the the headers we have our access token, and this is a token that's created, and this is basically based on my ID, user ID, as well as the is admin thing. So I could check whether the thing is an admin or not. I could go here, and this is /API/users, and then we have get users. Okay. So if we do this, because I believe it's like that, so we have get users, and then we have over here users. So I think it's like that. So API users, I believe it's like that. So you go to index.js just to verify. And over here we have user, not users, but user /API/user/get users. Send, and we get all the users. So we have a users list, okay, and we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different users. Total users are 8, and last month users are 6. So I mean, it 100% is working properly. And what we could do is now we could use this, and you could also limit this. You could use a custom, like query parameter. You see these? That's amazing. So query parameter is equal to, let's suppose, 1. If I say 1, now you can see the value is set over here. If I press send, I only get 1 user here. Okay, that's amazing. I mean, this is super cool. So we could add in any kind of query parameter here based on how we made this get user. So you can see over here, limit, sort direction, start index, and everything is now going to be really cool and nicely done. So well done for this part. And now let's move on to the next part. Good job for completing it this far. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add this to our UI front end. So if you go to the dash, 1 minute. So if you go here, right, you want to add another option here to select users, right? And then from there you could see a table just like this, but has the users just for the admin. So for that particular case, we'll have the client, and in here we'll have the source. Here we'll have the components, and then here we'll have the dash posts. If you remember dash posts, something similar like this has to be created, and it's going to be called dash users. So let's go. Sorry, what did I do over here? Okay, so what we're going to do here, we're going to go in the components. We're going to create a component which is going to be called dash users JSX. Okay. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this all, paste it here. Now again, there's dash users, not posts, so we're going to have to fix all of this stuff up. Okay, so we have dash users, copy this, go here all the way on the top, and dash users right here. Okay, and rest everything right now, we're going to look into this. But the important thing what we got to decide here is we have a dashboard. If you look into the pages, we have a dashboard.jsx right here. Now over here we have these different types of things. So you want to basically have another tabs. You go to profile, you go to dash profile, and tabs you go to post, you go to dash post. And then over here what you basically would do is you'd have / asterisk, and then we have users, and then we have ... and then we have tab is equal to users, and then we'd have dash users. Okay, So all of this is being saved properly, which is super cool. It's registered here, like in the dashboard.jsx that we created. And this is going to be, fetching the URL from the URL params.get tab. So if we do tab is equal to users, remember, we're going to fetch the dash users. Okay, that's good. Now we have to actually import dash users. And now basically it's imported here. Now what we want to do is we want to go to the dash sidebar. And if you remember, this was a component. And let's see, dash sidebar right there. And in here, remember, we had these posts similar to this. We could just copy this. We could have one which is going to be for tab is equal to users. Okay. And then we have sidebar item, and then active is equal to users. Okay. And then we'd have hi document text. We could just remove this and say hi outline user group. Okay. You're going to import this from React icons. This would be users. Okay, let's see how this looks like, I believe. So let's go here, finally have a users icon. Click on it. And so, what's happening is that I actually copy pasted the whole, component from my post. That's why everything is the same. So we have to modify this so that it, has the users instead. So we'll go to the dash users. Okay. So over here, what we want to do is now fix this up, according to how we want to, add it. So first of all, we'll go from the top and explore what things need to be changed. So if you look at dash users, we have a modal. Yeah, it's imported. And we have a table, we have a button, all good. And then we have over here in the dash users, we have a current user, use selector, and then we have state, and we have state.user. This is all awesome. Okay, so instead of new user posts, we'll have users. Okay, so users, and then we have set users instead of, so users like this. Of course, it's gonna scream out errors, but right now we'll just fix it out. So show more, and we have set show more, use state, and we have true. And then we have show modal, set show modal, and that's false. Post ID to delete. We'll say not post ID, but we want to have the user ID to delete, and we have set user ID. So over here we'll have user ID, and then we have that set to this. Use effect. So over here we have fetch post, and we have asynchronous, and then we have this call. So now check this out. We have a construct fetch API, and then we have user, not post. So we have user, and we get users. Okay, we don't need the ID. Okay, so we basically could get the users like this. If you remember, if you go here, we just need that. We don't need anything else. So exactly like that. Let's go back here, which is in the dash user. So we have, okay, so it's gonna check if the data is good. If it is, we have the return over here. So what we have is, you could basically remove this console.log. If the response is okay, we have set users is equal to data.users. Okay, this is gonna give you the users. And if data.users.length is less than 9, we have set show more, and that's to false. And then we have catch, we have console log, error.message. Okay, so over here we have, pretty good stuff. We have set users, data.users. If we have data.users.length is less than 9, we'll have set show more to false. This is the show more functionality. And then this is the error. I mean, but everything looks good for this function, which is right here, which is the fetch posts. Okay, and this has to change to fetch users because we're not fetching posts anymore. So users, and we want to call this, so we could call this like that. Okay. And then we have current user is an admin. Then we could use this current users. Okay, so current user, and it's gonna be changing based on the ID. And I believe it's all valid. So we have handle show more, and then we have the start index. We have users dot length. Okay. And then we could basically get the start index from there. Try response, await, fetch, API post, get users again. And then we could have custom queries. So if you look over here, we'll have custom queries just like how we did in that Thunder client. So get users. So over here we have question. We don't need the ID, user ID. Okay. The only thing that we need is the start index. So start index is equal to start index. And then we have data response.json, and then we have if response.ok. We have set users, and then we have previous, and then we have previous, and then we have data.users. So these are gonna exist like, remember the filter that the old previous data as well as the new users will all exist. If data.users.length is less than 9, just set show more to false. And of course, everything else is done for this handle show more. Looks good. Now we have the handle delete functionality. Over here, we have the delete user, functionality here. But right now, we're not gonna have this. So let me just have this right now. Nothing, because we don't have to actually create the API route for this as well. So we'll just have the handle delete post like that as of now. If you go to the current user.isAdmin, if user user post, we'll just say users.length. Okay. So over here would have users.length is greater than 0. So we'd have a table, we have hoverable. Over here we could actually add an table. Put a property here. We could say hoverable, and then over here we have class name to the table, and we say shadow 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 -MD. Looks good. Everything seems to look good. I mean, we have all of this really done and well organized. Date updated, date post image, and then we have username, category, delete. Let's just have to update this. So over here we have this map, and I'll show you what exactly how we're gonna have to go about this. But first of all, it's not date updated, but date created. Same thing. It's not post image, but it's called user image. For the post title, we could just have the email or the username of the person. This could be the email, and then we'd have the admin functionality, whether it's an admin or not. And then you could have one more cell. One more cell, and this is for whether you want to delete the user or not, right? You can remove this edit one. No need for that. If you go to the users.map, so it's basically going to be called users.map, and then we have each user like this, and we have over here key. So this is now a problem that was happening before. We have a key and we have _ID. Basically, you could put anything you want. They're all unique. This was coming in the post issue as well. Right now, everything is not going to be functioning properly. I have a lot of issues. I'm going to have to fix all these. Reference post is not defined, right? Yeah. So we're going to have to fix these errors. Post is not defined, post is not defined, post is not defined. So this is in dash users and line number 79. Okay. So we have over here, yeah, so over here you can see post. These have to be users. So, you basically could understand here. These are all users. So over here we have new date, user dot updated at. Or you basically could change this to created at, because we want to check if the user was created. And image, we have post source. We can put in the user dot profile image or profile picture. Then we have the alternative. We could say user dot username. And then here we have a table cell which has the link tag. So we could just basically remove this because we don't want to actually go to that user. We'll just have this to user dot username. Same thing, user dot email. And then we have another table cell. So this is basically for deleting, but we have one more table cell. We could just add in a table dot cell. And over here what we could do is, if the user is an admin, okay, what you would do is you have font awesome, check, class name to text green 500. This is like a nice little check you'll see. Just 1 second. Okay, so 1 minute. Let me just import. Okay, so now we're gonna have, okay, if it's an admin, show that check. If not, show a cross, like a cross. So over here we'll have, and we'll have FA times class name text red. Okay, that's good. Import all of these. So it's line number 97. Just remember that. Go over here. Import FA check, FA times from React icons, FA. Okay, so all of that looks good. We have a table cell. So we have a table cell here, and that's for deleting. So over here we have a problem here. Span, on click, we have set show model, and set, not post to ID to delete, but user ID. So set user ID to delete, and it will have the user dot underscore ID from the the specific ID that's being created. As everything is looking good. Then we have a table cell that edits. We don't need edit anymore, so we could actually remove this cell. Okay. Table rows completed, table bodies completed, and then we have this show more button. Okay. Of course, it's complaining because there's some kind of issue. So we have show more, and then we have button. We have handle show more, show more. What's the problem here? No, it is button. This is normal button. Okay. So you have not created any posts yet. In this, you have not created any users yet. Okay. And then over here in the modal, you basically have set show modal. Are you sure you want to delete this user? Okay. Handle delete user. Okay. So because we had the handle delete user over here, remember over here handle delete post, this is for dash post, but in dash users we had handle delete user. We copied this and we brought it all the way up here, right? So we had to have to, you know, update it here and then, you know, have it perfectly aligned, and everything else, you know, is changed according to our needs. We added one thing, which is for the image. So over here, if you look at the, you know, picture of each user, we're having the class name set to width 10, height 10, object cover, background gray 500, but just rounded full, just to have that nice looking circular, you know, image for each user. So now look at this. If we go here to our page, we'll have all of this being displayed. So this looks really nice. We have the delete modal, and you could see, are you sure you want to delete this user? Yes, I'm sure. It's not going to work actually, so no is now. But now what we're going to do is now we're going to just have the ability to delete any kind of user if we're an admin, right? So if we go here, we have to add in another user.route.js. Over here, if you remember, we had this /delete/user ID. That's exactly what we want to do. So we already have this route created last time for, you know, when a user looks at its own profile and has the ability to delete it. We could use it we could just use this existing one and recycle, maybe reuse it, and have the ability for the admin to delete any kind of user based on the ID. So what we could go is go to the user.controller.js, and over here, if you remember, we had the delete update user, and then we had delete user. So over here, if you remember, we had this delete user, which had request.user.id not equal to the request.params.user.id. But over here, we just want to add one more thing. If the person is not an admin, so if the request.user.isAdmin is false, right? So if that person is false, and it has to match both of these conditions, either you know, run you know, this thing. If not, you know, you can't. So you have to be an admin, and you also have to you know, basically match with the parameter. So then you could basically prevail. If not, you know, you're not unauthorized, you're not able to delete any of this. Let's go now to, basically gives you a 403 status, meaning unauthorized. So this is a status code. Okay, so now we want to have this delete user. It basically works pretty fine here. We have to go to the dash users, and over here we just have to, you know, create this perfectly done. So let's just go here in the dash users. So right here in the delete, handle delete user, go here, and we could just have a try and a catch. And for the catch, we could have a console.log, and then we have error.message. Okay, great. So in the try, we have the delete. So what we could say is const response is equal to await fetch, okay, backtick /API /user /delete, okay, and then we have the deleted ID. Remember, we got the user ID to delete, captured it. So that's beautiful. But because we had that over here, it was set to null, but then we basically captured it on this span. So on click, set modal to true, set user ID to delete to user._ID. So this is basically when you click on the delete, you get the ID of the user. This is, remember, the map. It's beautiful. So what's going to happen is that we have over here a comma, and you have the method to delete, right, like that. So that's good. So we have this, you know, yeah, from here, and then we have this round bracket. Okay, so now after that we have this data. So because a const data is good, await response.json, and exactly the same stuff we do before. If the you know, date response is okay, you would have the set users, and you would have to you know, filter the previous user. So it's like the previous users all exist, but you'll have to filter this out. So prev.filter, and then we have user, the new one. So basically current user. Now it's saying if the user, so we're basically, remember, like filtering this out. So if the user's ID matches that ID that I deleted, do not include that, and rest include every single other. So basically, it removes it from the database with this our API. But then after that, we make our results better with set users and make it just so that that deleted user doesn't appear anymore and it's gone forever, even in the display. When it's deleted, you have to remove the display as well. So that's why how we filter it out, and then we have set show modal to false. Basically, everything is done. So that's really good. And then we have over here else. If this is not there, we could just say console data.message, console.log data.message, and then we have this. Okay, I think that's really good to go. And then we are now able to delete any kind of user we want. Suppose I don't want ABCs, so I click on this and I delete, and ABC is gone. Refresh the page, and ABC is gone forever. Wow, that's powerful. Okay, so now what we're gonna be doing next is we're gonna move on to our next pages, because we have completed a lot and it's been really good progress so far. So that's really good. And we're gonna move on to our next features. So basically you could add this thing, but I don't really want it, so we just refresh it and that's gone. And we'll move on to the next parts soon.